Welcome to Thinking Outside the Soil with your host, Johnny Alfalfaseed, where we get to talk story and touch on topics about hydroponics and the farmers who grow the crops and creatures we need to eat. Good morning, and hello from Blooming Health Farms. And thank you for being with me in this gorgeous morning. We've had a lot of rain here in Colorado, so it's gorgeous to see the sun is coming up, but we also have some smoke from Canada. So the sunrise this morning was absolutely gorgeous as it glowed through the haze. It almost looked like an eclipse, so it was pretty neat. Today, I wanted to just briefly talk to you about the interview that I did this past weekend. I have been teasing the listeners out there with the possibility of interviewing other people. And so far, the interview with Rachel has been blowing up the show. So thank you, Rachel, for what you do out there. So we're excited to really talk to those other farmers out there that are doing some novel things in sustainable agriculture and specifically interested in hydroponics. The ones I'm talking to are coming to me because they are interested or curious about hydroponics for their livestock. So today I wanted to talk a bit more about my book, The Yak Farmer I Spoke to, named MaryJo. So Thinking Outside the Soil is a book that I published in October of 2021, and it unlocks a lot of information about how farmers and researchers are seeing benefits with hydroponic fodder. They're seeing huge benefits in sustainable agricultural avenues. Most importantly, hydroponic fodder, or those that are growing feed for their livestock using hydroponics, are saving significant amounts of water. They're saving significant amounts of land by not growing those crops at that time in the soil and growing them instead with hydroponic methods. So they're saving water because hydroponics uses significantly less water than those grown in the field, and that's mainly because plants are able to reuse the water that is available to them. The water in a hydroponic system is recirculated through the root zone of the plants, so they continuously have access. So in reality, the only water that's mostly lost is that to the plant's needs, and those lost to. And then when you're growing these crops hydroponically, you're able to use land that traditionally would grow these crops in a different way. Now, there are a lot of different ways you could use that land. Perhaps you are interested in setting it aside for an agricultural trust, like I've spoken about in previous episodes, or perhaps it's going to some other kind of agricultural conservation program, or perhaps it's part of your rotational plan for when you do put crops out in the field and you're able to allow the soil to fallow longer and ultimately help the soil's health in other ways that we're not traditionally used to. It would sound crazy to tell a farmer doing traditional rotational methods, hey, you can not farm this land for a few years and it's still going to be healthy and you will be just as profitable, if not more so, growing hydroponically. And saving water and saving land aren't really the only benefits that make this so attractive to farmers. Those things right then and there are very, very attractive, yet these farmers and researchers have shown that when they're giving their animals fresh feed, live hydroponic fodder, they are ultimately improving their livestock's health and the products that we get from those animals. So they're feeding healthier things to their animals, they're saving water, they're able to use land differently. For us, that looks like being able to raise chickens in a much smaller space and still be able to reach and meet towards those certified humane, pasture raised, organic, free range standards that we believe in, that promote animal welfare, that promote a great product. And I believe that it's important that those animals undergo all of those different things in order to have really great eggs. So we're seeing it specifically for us with our eggs, and I've heard it anecdotally from other farmers who are over here trying to take our hens, saying how gorgeous they are. And I don't get to see it as much as I need to until I go and see other chickens, and I get to see other chickens and talk to other farmers about hydroponics and hydroponic fodders. And one of those farmers I got to meet is a yak farmer. I wanted to speak to this lady I met at the Greeley Chamber of Commerce. I met her at a little coffee event, and we hit it off and got to talking about agriculture. And I was like, wow, I would love to see your yaks. And in those conversations, she started to ask me a lot of things about her chickens. So when I went up there and saw her hens, I got to see some of the challenges she was experiencing. And a few of those were, my chickens really don't eat that well, and you could tell because they were thinner than mine. Their feathers were, a little bit, falling out. They weren't as shiny, if you will. And then she said that she gets a lot of pasty butt and runny stools, not consistent and normal for a chicken. So we opened up that hydroponic fodder conversation, and I eventually invited her to do an interview to share with you about being a yak farmer and start to tease out some of the benefits of doing things differently in agriculture, doing things different with our livestock, and specifically feeding our animals feed that is grown hydroponically. It's why I wrote and published a book. It's why I started this podcast. And it is why Ethan and Shay, a new couple that have come into our fold, are now organic chicken farmers. So it's pretty cool to see what has gone on so far. I will get the audio situation sorted out. The first interview went so smoothly. I did it what I believed was exactly the same way and didn't get the same results. So it's clear that there was something awry on my side or hers, and we can sort it out and keep delivering that valuable content to you. Please do leave a review in the show below. Let me know what you've liked so far. But that is all I have for us today. If you want to learn how those scientists and farmers are using hydroponic fodder to save water, improve their livestock quality, and showing us how they're becoming better stewards, head on over to thinkingoutsidethesoil.com so you can get yourself a copy of my book so you don't miss out on becoming part of this next agricultural revolution. Thank you for being with me on today's show, and join me again on another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil. Take care and have a lovely day. Hey, before you go, check out the links below, and if you'd be so kind as to leave a rating and review and follow the show. For those with feathered friends, don't forget to get yourself some of our Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix. This supplemental mix has been shown to give you some of the best eggs with the yummiest yolks. You'll have happy, healthy hens that abandon the feeder and give you eggs with high levels of vitamin A and omega fatty acids. So don't forget to get yourself some Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix.